I just caught a mistake in the last video. I created an alert type, or I changed the alert type in my Arc shell. Where was it? No, we're in a global. So in global config for the dev CFG, I'm changing the alert type to warning. And then I went and looked. I realized I don't even have warning. So warning would essentially be a medium type of alert, and you can see the alert keyword is warning there. So that keyword, that's the messaging system. So that's the I know this seems a little confusing. It's not too bad, but we have abstraction on abstraction essentially. So if you begin with the messaging system, these are keywords. Their configuration is right here. So we have a keyword called warning. And what that is explaining the messaging system to do is, does it send a text? No. Does it send an email? Yes. Does it send a Slack message? No. I can't remember what that is. So anyway, these are the keywords, and they kind of determine what does a critical message do. Well, it's going to send a text and an email. So anyway. So those are keywords, and then we have alert types, and we're mapping these alert types to those keywords. So a critical alert, yeah, it has a critical keyword, but a high alert is also critical. A medium alert is warning. So we could go down here and see what warning does. Sends an email. Okay. So really the alerting is a recurrence of the message, basically. That's what an alert is going to do. It's going to keep going off until it's done. But I don't have a warning alert type. So I should have probably, if I wanted to fix this quickly, we'd go in here and say, what that really ought to be is medium. Okay. But let's say I want to add warning. We'll just make that a copy of medium. I can add that by duplicating that file and just changing it to warning. And now a warning alert type exists. It's totally legitimate. This alert type maps to the warning keyword for messaging. Okay, so that's how easy it is to add alert types. Now I've added it to the default core installation of Arc Shell, but you can create your own alert types because we have these things called config objects, and you can create your own in global config. So you can go into alert types and you could create your own alert types here if you have your own types of alert that you want. You can also define them just for the user in the user config. So, all right. So let's look at alerting really quickly and just see, what's going on here. So with most things, there's help from the command line. I think it's alerts help. So it's basically the beginning of the package name. If you look in the source, it'll be alerts underscore arcshell underscore alerts or something like that. So alerts help is how you get help from the command line, if you can remember the word or go look at the package. Usually I'm doing stuff in Sublime, but sometimes I need help right here. So to open alert, we just say alert open. We can accept standard input if we want, and then we can say warning. Now I don't know if that is rebuilt yet, so we'll just go with medium for now. So we just put the alert type right there. Instead of, this was something I didn't want to say dash alert type space. I just wanted to be able to do dash medium. We can specify certain groups, groups of people, or messaging groups that we want this to go to. We'll just go with default. You always got to give an alert ID. So I'm going to call it foo ID. And then my title for foo ID alert, and that will open basically a recurring message. Now that's not going to work unless Arc Shell is running, but we can say alerts, so the messages can't go out. You see that we've got alerts count. I could run alerts check manually, and then it would send out, but basically we want the daemon to run that. So what we're going to do is start Arc Shell. If it's not running, no help arc shell.shell start. And then clear this out. So Arc Shell's running, but we kind of want to see what it's doing. I think if we do logging help, logger help maybe. Yeah, we got this log follow and log quit, so we can just quickly kind of follow, and sometimes we can quit following. Not always, doesn't always work, but it's helpful. You don't have to remember where the log file is. We can just say log follow, and now we are following our logging. And we can see that things are running, lots of boring stuff in there, some data. So, okay, if I want to quit that, I can just say log quit. And if it still sees the session ID for the tail, it will kill it. And we're up and running. So now that alert will begin working and stuff. So anyway, it's really easy to open alerts, really easy to configure alerts. You can override things in so many places. You know, the hard part is deciding what method you're going to choose that is easy to keep organized. My recommendation is to keep things as simple as possible and then make them more complicated as needed, but try to keep things very basic and simple. There's a lot of ways to prevent people from getting alerted at certain times and things like that. You have control at pretty much every stage of the process, from the actual monitor to then what the alert does, to the messaging system, to the groups that it go to, and what is allowable at the group level. In fact, I'll show that to you just really quickly if you haven't seen this. We have these things called contact groups, and you have group emails, group texts. I will block that out, but my number's pretty easy to find if you wanted it. Actually, it's really easy to find. Just get on LinkedIn. Okay, so you have group emails, group text, and we have all these options. Like we can disable text using cron expressions. We can disable the group. We can queue stuff so that it gets queued up before it's sent out. We can use Slack. You know, there's a lot of options here for configuring your groups, your configuration groups. So, and anyway, all right, that's it. We'll talk to you later.